Alright folks, I'm here with another board I'm try to repair. This is actually NBA Jam Extreme. I have never actually heard about this board until I just saw it on eBay recently, and I found it kind of interesting. It turns out that, you guys all know NBA Jam, Tournament Edition, NBA Jam, also Maximum Hang Time. It's all owned by Midway. They were building these boards, and I guess they lost their rights to it, and Acclaim got the rights to this board, according to the research I've done. Well, to the NBA jams, to the licensing for the NBA. So they made this board, and I've never actually seen it or heard of it. It's a very similar game. But anyway, I bought this on eBay. Turned out it was a working board that just keeps on rebooting. I got it in today. Sure enough, it just constantly reboots. Examining through the board, I was actually able to get into a test menu, and it turns out the U17 was coming up bad, which is this one right here. So between the test menu and finding out the U17 was bad, and just doing a physical examination of the board, I saw that one of the legs, see right there, was broken off on the U17, and that could cause it to reset. So what I did, it's kind of hard to see. These chips, I don't know how easy they are to come by. They're from Acclaim, but I actually did a Dremel. I just drilled it out so I got a little bit of I could bite onto, a little bit of metal I could bite onto. I'm going to try to put this wire onto here and connect it to, I'm going to put it actually on this little pad here. A little wire here, and then I'll put some hot glue on it if it comes out working. I'll see if I get a replacement chip later on, but I just want to see if this gets it working. If I get that working, I think that'll solve the rebooting issue, plus, obviously it'll be a good ROM. Another issue I had was the soundboard. This is a soundboard for it. This one looks like it actually had some work done on it. There's a little wire there. Well, that wire is broken off. I'll see if I could connect that, if that'll bring the sound back. Alright, so we'll see what I can do here. That's some fine soldering right there. Like I said, I got a little bit of metal. With the Dremel, I took out that chip. You don't want to go too deep because then you ruin the chip. Just so I get a little bit of metal pad exposed, see if I can solder a piece of wire on there. That little piece of wire is on top. And let's see what I could do. So I'm here after the repair. Came out pretty nice. Like I said, you can see right here with the U17, little Dremel on the chip. You don't want to go too deep, otherwise you ruin the chip, but just enough so I could get a little piece of that leg. It was actually broken off to the point where you couldn't see any metal. So that's why I did a little Dremel action. I soldered the little wire from put it on the pad here, little wire to here. There was actually a trace that went to a little pad here. That's why I could have went right down by where the feet were. But so I ended up soldering that in. I cleaned it up. And put it in the cabinet, and it booted right up, and no problems at all. I was able to play a couple rounds. The only thing I was having is an issue with the sound. This sound, this is like a 40-pin sound ribbon. I put it on here, and I was getting no sound. I had to do some research. It turns out this board is a little odd. It's not like NBA Jam. NBA Jam's the original one from Midway. You had a ribbon cable, then you had a power cable that went to the board as well. Turns out the sound comes directly from this board and nothing from the main board at all. So just the ribbon cable is not going to do it. You actually have to get a harness. Right here hooks to the speakers of your cabinet, and this over here hooks to your 12 volt, your 5 volt, and your grounds. So to get the sound to work, you actually have to have two harnesses, and they don't go anywhere onto the board for some reason. It has to go directly to the cabinet. There's no place to hook it up on the board. They have all these others for 3 and 4 player hookups. So I ended up I put something together so I was able to at least test it out, and it worked. It got it working. But I'm gonna have to actually create a harness and then maybe like a fingerboard, like the jammer, because I switch boards frequently. I don't want to have this in my my cabinet constantly. So yeah. So to get the sound working, you got to create these harnesses and do it. So I'm gonna do it nice. But again, the board works great. That little bit of repair. The only thing I can say is make sure you physically inspect these boards very thoroughly. It could be the littlest thing, like pins touching, or something like that. That makes your board not work. Especially if you don't pack it away with good care. Bubble wrap and something where it could cause some damage. This board was actually in pretty good shape, other than that one little leg, and the leg was actually on there. It just wasn't touching, and it was all bent up. As soon as I touched it, the thing fell right off. So I was able to fix that up. Board boots right up. As I'll show you, I put it in the cabinet. I won't put it in with the sound on there, but you'll see it works, and Again, this is the first time I've ever heard of the NBA Jam Extreme, but it seems like a pretty fun game. It's very similar to the regular NBA Jam, just supposed to be 3D as opposed to 2D. Alright, so I'm here with the NBA Jam Extreme. Like I said, I did the repair. There's no sound hooked up to it now. I said I have to create the harnesses. I did test the sound, but I have to actually create a harness that I could plug in there and it's connected well. It was getting to this point even when I bought the board, but then it would just reboot and go back to that screen with the multicolors. It seems to be a pretty cool game. It's very similar to actual NBA Jam. It's just it's supposed to be a 3D version as opposed to a 2D version. I'm just gonna pick anything here. Again, when you do these repairs, any kind of repairs, so I don't have like a logic probe or anything. I just physically inspect the board very thoroughly. Any damages, repair it. And even with that, sometimes the board doesn't come back and there's something else to it. But a lot of times it's just the physical damage. It's a pretty cool game. So we'll get it up and running with the sound harnesses. But there you go. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. I'll do the best I can to answer it. Thanks for watching.